Topical Tyrades. So everybody, hey, how's it going? It's me, Corona Chris. So today we're going to be talking about, does it need to be live action? It's something I've been thinking about a lot, especially since, the Disney live action movies and some newer anime movies and to a lesser extent video game movies. These are kind of the things that have been remade and put into a live action setting. Now, it's a remake. What constitutes a remake? A remake to me is same story or similar story done in one big difference. That difference usually being, hey, it's live action, it's new, it's real people, it's not animated bullshit. I don't know what's wrong with animation, you sons of... Sorry, that's the issue. A remake, well, first of all, a remake, you get the idea. Same story, different function. Is not a remaster. A remaster is just taking what's already there and upscaling it. Whereas a remake is a ground-up build. Now, of course, there's a bunch of remakes now. There's, Aladdin, Lion King, the live-action remake. What else is there? There's the Maleficent movie, the first one, and the sequel coming out, which I'm guessing will tell the actual story of Maleficent, even though we got it previously off track. There's a bunch of them, and most of course, are of Disney. But there's also things like A Little Battle Angel came out earlier, then there's older ones like, frog in the throat. There's older ones. Of course, there's that movie of Kite, Dragon Ball Evolution. That one's still hard to get through. Oh, God. And, of course, the rest. There's a bunch of video game remakes. Super Mario Bros., Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Assassin's Creed, World of Warcraft. The more I talk about these, the more drained I am. But these are really the sort of issues that are these stories have been told. They're actually working on currently from Netflix a live-action remake of Cowboy Bebop. I think it's going to be an entire series, which begs the question, why do we need that again? We got the stories, we've been told them. What are you going to add? Plus, that's if you're not condensing stories into a movie. Especially with anime and video games, you take that story and you have to condense it down to do a runtime. And it doesn't really work for the most part. You're taking stories that are allowed to be, let's say, 30 hours, maybe 80 hours long, and putting them into two. Something they're going to get lost in the shuffle. And you also have to figure if you're going to do something different with these, what are you going to add? Like, in the case of Mulan that's coming out later this year at the time of this video's recording, they're going to actually take away things that were the original Mulan. Make it a more serious story that, was presenting the original legend, which they didn't do because, Disney film. Hey, whatever. But what is it you're going to add to it? What are you going to put in? In some cases, this can be something as simple as just a new song, usually for an Oscar, or maybe a new small plotline for a character that wasn't referenced before. But are those stories really necessary? Do we really need those things if the story as a whole suffices for so long? It's just kind of the problem I'm facing here with a lot of these movies. Should they exist in the most part? Disney has kind of an excuse. Walt Disney created in his contract before he died that, every 10 years these things had to be remade. But, what's wrong with a re-release? Just put them out on video and DVD, or you have enough money, put them back in theaters for a certain amount of time. You don't need to make them live action. And you don't need to dumb it down. If you compare, let's say, Beauty and the Beast to the original, I don't like either. I never liked the original. But the original, at least, I feel for the characters more. Whereas here, or Lion King. Lion King's so bad. It's not even live action, guys. You're just putting CG animation on top of it. It's literally CG. That's not live action. That's realistic rendering. There's a lot of issues and defaults and details and a lot of things. And there is a sort of middle ground where these kind of works. The best example of which I think is Detective Pikachu, wherein it is an entirely new game, the story is retold, but it's a bit more spiced up, done for better audiences, especially here in the West. It's a good movie, and it's a good way to tell a similar story, but just in a different way and allowing for live action people to be incorporated into the story. It's a meshing is what I'm saying here. And I think that's really the problem here. It goes too much in one direction or too much in the other direction. And it's not really working for either. But I think that's all the time we have for this video, and we'll get more into this on a later day. Alright guys, I've been Corner Chris. Peace out.